following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys discuss Public Enemy parting ways with Flavor Flav, Al's victory in Trivia Battleground and Rockets small ball, and of course they chime in with buy or sell, a listener question, and wrap it all up with trivia. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Check. Pool. Money. West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up. Keep it trail, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, forget out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. On to the Shy Life. I'm gonna let this ride out though. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This is episode 147. Y'all come on in, wipe your feet, close the door behind you. I'm your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glymph. What's good with you, cuzzo?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Doing good. How you doing this week?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Getting just jumped off of a show I just got hooked on. You ever watch Snowfall?
No, that about crack.
Yeah,
that the birth of crack.
Right.
Yeah. I've been dying to watch that. I haven't got into that one, but yes, I want to watch that. Is it good?
It is. Over the last couple weeks, I've watched about 2.5 seasons, so I've been binging on it.
Okay. Yeah, I got that.
It's really good. So I had been hearing it was good, and finally decided to watch it, and I ain't disappointed.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out. I remember when it was being promoted at the first coming out, and I was like, that looked like that could be a good show,
right? And
just haven't got on it yet, but I do want to watch it.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of shit you were supposed to watch, did you ever get to check out The Photograph?
I did not, and it was almost. I got overruled. I got outvoted because I was, watching a movie with my wife and Adea over the weekend, and it was trying to sneak that one in, but instead, trying to remember what we watched. Let me think about it, but it wasn't, whatever it wasn't all that good either. So,
okay.
I'll try again this weekend.
All right, yes. Let me know when we talk about it. Yeah, man. I know, and you's probably like still partying and shit from your championship. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah. And man, it's so it was a good game, probably one of the more competitive ones. But shout out to my squad going undefeated, getting championship. That 18U Knicks we repeated, and actually that's my third championship in 4 years in the 18U division. So I'm getting the hang of it now. And I'm just like, y'all better step y'all game up, player. Right. It was a good game, and went back and forth. But it's an ill feeling being a villain of the league, the team people want to lose. Because it's like once the team got to be they had like a 2-point advantage on us, the whole gym erupted, and they were like, yeah! And I was like, oh, wow, that's how we doing it? Pulling for them.
Hey, you got a target on your back, man.
we had a target on our back, and it was cool because it kind of gave the team a little bit of adversity that we didn't have enough of over the season, and it's always nice to see how people react in those moments and how they can recover. And there was some initial shrugging, the shoulders, slumped a little bit, heads went down, finger pointing, like people trying to do it all by themselves. So that's when coach called the timeout. And let's come on, let's regroup. We still got 4 minutes left. We only down 2. Relax. We can do this. Calm down. And they didn't score another point. So, yeah, So, it was cool, man. It's kids are funny. So it's like as we were kind of the game had been sealed and we were shooting free throws to kind of win the game. One of my better players is sitting on the bench, and he looks at me. He's like, "Yo, coach, those 4 points, man, that did it right there. That made the difference." And so we, I didn't really know what he was talking about at the time, but we was up by 7. So I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Those 4 points, man, that would have swung the game, man." And I still didn't know what the hell he was talking about until I got home and was kind of replaying the game. And he had hit 2 free throws on a technical, and then made another clutch shot to kind of give us the extension of the lead. And I'm like, oh, he was replaying the game, patting himself on the back. And then as I walked by, he's like, "Yo, coach, those 4 points, man, it made the difference." I was like, "Yo, man, kids is amazing. Here we are winning. We're about to win the championship. We undefeated." 15 seconds left in the game, and he's sitting there like, "Yeah, I did that shit."
It's because of me.
It's because of me.
My 4 points did this. You're welcome.
My 4 points, man. Yeah, coach. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, coach, man. Just want to let you know, man, my 4 points did it. So, I chuckled like later that night when it kind of dawned on me what he was talking about. Oh my God.
I'm glad y'all won, man. Congrats again, and I'm glad for you. Because if you ain't win, man, they're probably going to be like, "Man, fuck that. Let's get him out of here and bring his son in as the coach." So I'm glad you won.
Okay. I have to prove that, yo. I can do this without my son. I'm okay. I'm the real deal. Yeah. They might, we'll see if they get a little, if the team splinters off and, this coaching tree develops to where they're like, well, we kind of like the young version.
We're going to roll,
we're gonna roll with him like that. But it was a good season all in all, and it definitely had its ups and downs in terms of some of the off the court stuff. But like I told the team, that all of that is just about learning, and that's why we do this. And I'm proud of them for continuing to go after what we was out here for, which was to win that last game. Yeah, and deal with all the other stuff that we had to. So. Yeah. Good season.
It's dope, man. And then, like I tell anybody, I remember telling my son this past football season is, man, any championship you can get on any level, cherish that shit, because you only get a few if you're lucky.
Oh, man. Yeah, if you're lucky. And, on whatever level it is, at the end of the day, you're competing with people to get it.
Right.
So, I don't care what it is. It could be the neighborhood golf
right.
championship.
Yeah. Hopscotch tournament. I'm on it.
Whatever. You in it. And, at the very least, it gives bragging, points and stuff like that. But I believe that any type of success breeds success. So whether it's the spelling bee championship, employee of the year, whatever it is, I believe that these moments in your life, are helpful, because you can then, if you're kind of using it and leveraging it the right way, you can look back at those moments and kind of learn and say, okay, this is what I was able to do to be successful, because and I know a lot of these skills are transferable. So the same skills that you apply to be successful here, you can use in the school setting or work setting or whatever setting. Just to understand that, these skills ultimately are what you use to be successful in life.
True.
So.
Yeah, man. Well, happy for you, man. Happy for you, your kids, and on for number 4 next year. So take a week and like what they say in the pros, you take a week and celebrate, and then it's on to the preparation for next season.
There you go. And it was cool because I actually spoke to your dad day after, and it was just like, yo, so what's going on? How was your weekend? And I was like, yeah, man, pretty good. Won a championship yesterday. And instantly he got it, and he was just like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I know you're feeling good right now. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I am.
All right. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, and most of you probably don't, but yeah, my dad was a Little League baseball coach for about 12, 13 years. So he was my Little League coach. And, yeah, so anytime you get to win a championship, man, that shit is special.
And I'm pretty certain he said he did it. He's never won one. And he was, talking about, regardless winning or not, what he always reminds me of being a former coach is the long, the life, impact that you could have on players, and how, there's grown men that come up to him and like, yo, Coach Glymph, man, I just want to let you know how you impacted my life.
Right.
And so while, as coaches, we definitely appreciate whether we did or did not win. At the end of the day, the real benefit and the winning that accomplishes is how we are able to impact and pour into these kids' lives. And to the point that after the game, man, I got a call from one of my players just thanking me, man. Just like the one who invited me to his senior night.
Yeah.
He called. He was just like, yo, coach, man, because this was his last season with me. He was just, man, I just want to thank you for everything you've done since I was a 7th grader. And I'm like, yo, that's like 20 minutes after the game. You're thinking, let me call coach. That's just, one speaks to how he's been raised as his family and the impact of his life. Because like I said, he is a good kid. But just how I've been able to play a role in his life is good shit too. So shout out to all the coaches.
No doubt. And that's dope. Like, my dad was my coach in Little League. After a certain age, I stopped playing baseball. I think after I turned 12, I wasn't a baseball guy, and he kept coaching. But I remember at that age, having to share your dad with a bunch of other dudes, was difficult for me. Because, he still always came to all my stuff. But, now your dad ain't coaching you no more. And now he got to take this dude home and take that dude home and coaching. So it was difficult. It was a difficult transition. But now, not even now, but, years ago, I was able to witness that appreciation for him, from dudes that I grew up with. And I know as adults now that always ask me, hey, how your pops doing? Or, his 60th birthday party when I would call his old players that coached, that he coached when they were kids 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and 30 years ago. And they would be like, yes, I'm there. Tell me when, I'm coming. So to see just that appreciation for him and coaches in general, man. And, and have some of them say now, some of them I'm still close with, like, man, and tell him, like, you don't realize, how much of an impact you had on me, because I either didn't have a father, or, my parents were always busy, and, the times that you would just give me a ride home, like, that was important to me. You'll have dudes for the rest of your life, and even, myself, I have other coaches that coached me, again, 30 years ago, and I see them now, they still my coach.
Yeah,
that's a special bond.
I tell all my players at the end of the season, like, yo, y'all will always be my players. Like, just letting y'all know wherever I'm at, y'all can count on me to help or give you some words, whatever, because y'all will always be down with me. Yeah. And I think it's one of them things where, I think it's adults who can appreciate the value of coaches. I think when you're playing, you don't get it. When you're young, you just kind of see them as, they're another adult.
Right.
But I think as you get older and you see that, well, you know what? Not every adult gives a damn about kids.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone's going to do what that coach or what that teacher did for me.
Yeah.
And you start looking at those adults a little differently as an adult. And you're like, you know what? I got to give that band teacher a little bit more respect.
Right.
He took the time to even talk to me and shit.
Right.
Like, you know what?
Right.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, and I tell, I tell Lincoln that, like, and it's funny now him, having his first attachment to a coach. So Lincoln played with the 10-year-olds this past season when he should have been playing with the 9-year-olds, but they didn't have enough players at that time. Okay. So he had to play an age group up. And so his coach, he fell in love with his coach, man. He took him a while to get used to the carrying the pads and working and actually, stuff that goes into the game outside of game day.
Right.
And, but he came to appreciate his coach so much because, just how hard he pushed him, how involved he was with them. And so his coach was trying to decide whether he was going to stay with the 10-year-olds or whether he was going to move up with his team to the 11-year-old group.
Mm.
And so Lincoln was like, well, I was like, you have a choice to make because you can stay with the 10-year-olds if you want to, or you can move up. He was like, well, when you talk to Coach Didi, let him know wherever he goes, I'm going. I was like, all right. Word. So talked to Coach Didi, and he's moving up with the 11-year-olds, and Lincoln was like, yeah. So, but now the Lincoln's offensive line coach is staying back to be the head coach of the 10-year-olds. So now he got a decision to make again because he's like, right. I was like, it's up to you, man. So it's good to see people have that impact on your kids. Now that you're old enough to understand it, and and you've gone through it as a kid, and then as a teenager, sometimes a young adult, and now to see people have that impact on your child. So that's special.
Because I think. When it comes to youth development, the more concerned, caring adults in a kid's life, the better. And so, we've had this conversation a couple of times in the league because at the 14U level, there is no rule. I guess you only get to freeze and keep 3 players with you as you enter a season. But, to us coaches, we kind of, the ones who've been around for a while, we kind of have an unwritten rule that, if that player wants to play with me and I want that kid on my team, like, don't draft them. Leave them for me and allow me to, even though I can only keep 3, if I got a 4th or 5th kid, come on, let them stay with me. And
that's my guy.
Some of the new coaches don't get it. They'll come in and be like, if he ain't protected and he got skills, I'm drafting him. And, that causes a little rift sometimes. And honestly, I did the same thing my first or second season, drafted a player because I'm like, I don't care. And but then as I, as it played out and I talked to that coach and he helped me understand why, I was like, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. Like, why would I just steal his guard? It ain't even that important. Like, hey, go play with that kid. Go play with that coach. Right. I'll pick another player and develop a bond because you want kids to get connected to that adult so that they continue to play, that they come back, that they're listening and engaged with an adult. So that's good to see that Lincoln is developing that bond with that coach.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Well, and a second congrats to you. For winning episode 1 of season 3 of Trivia Battleground.
Yo, man, last week was just an amazing week. And it started, honestly, with that win. And, it was a surprise, a shock. I came in one year talking shit, and I was quick to get bounced. This year, I tried a little bit more humble approach, and I won. Not that one had anything to do with the other, but I will look forward to the next opportunity to get at it. And I had some great competition. It was a really, really fun show. Yeah. And really, I listened to it. It was a fun show. So enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think for those of you unaware, this is season 3 of our Trivia Battleground, where all of our hosts get together and we just have fun with it and have a trivia tournament. And it's more than just fun. Of course, they get the winner of the championship round gets free gear, Defy Life gear. But it's bragging rights, so that shit is fun.
Yeah.
And so Al, this past week, if y'all hadn't heard it, go listen to it. But Al came out victorious against Pooh. Al was representing the Defy Life show. Pooh was representing Speak the Truth. We had Lynn from Lynn and Kim. We had Money from Fantasy Beast. And we had, who else was there? Somebody else was there.
Oz.
Oz from Take a Knee. I forget Oz. But yeah, so really, really fun game. It was the audio. I apologize. The audio was a little choppy at the beginning. I guess there was Pooh's neck acting up.
That neck, man. That might be the problem tonight.
It might be.
The chiropractor or having some type of neck brace installed.
Let me check to see if he done jumped on. He'll be on the listen show.
Yo, so that one was funny too at the during the show where it's like, oh, Pooh's on, and like we have been talking for a minute. And it was like you just introduced Pooh, and it's just like, hold on, wait. He on the show.
Right.
Typical Pooh to chill it.
Oh boy, but yeah, that was fun.
Good show.
So Al will be facing off against the contestants from the winner of episode 2, which will be within the next week or so. So you have the likes of Miggs, Hollywood Paul. Who else? Simba. So it's going to be another good one. So I know I'm forgetting 2. So then we have the special episode for the 3rd competitor to go to the championship. So it's going to be fun. But Al's the only one so far that got his spot locked up. So congrats, man.
Yeah, it's nice to be the first seed to secure a spot. And just look forward to trying to claim that championship because the West Coast won it the first year. Was he the
West Coast
first champ?
Yeah.
And then Len and Kim doubled up with the tag team championship first ever.
Right.
And so I'm trying to be the New Yorker come through and claim it. So it should be good. Should be good.
Good shit. Well, None before we jump too far into the show, a little bit of house cleaning as usual. Pooh had mentioned we somehow or another we were talking about Combine Warriors last week, and Pooh mentioned Matthias Kiwanuka, former Boston College pass rusher and defensive end and linebacker from the New York Giants, 2-time Super Bowl champion. And I mentioned that Matthias was one of my former guests on Long and Short of It, and I brought up that he owns his own winery. So just want to give a shout out. I told Pooh I would bring it up, but I texted you and Pooh. But yeah, shout out to Matthias, and just let everyone know. Go visit wanderingwines.com. That's his winery. It's Wandering Wines. He's got his own wine, his own label. So definitely check it out and support.
That's dope.
Yeah. But yeah, man, we'll get on into the show. First thing I wanted to talk about with you, because I know this will be near and dear to you. Public Enemy fires Flavor Flav, man. That's what I said. Like, what the fuck? So first of all, is there a Public Enemy without Flavor Flav?
Good point. Good point. I'd have to say yes. Because if you could have New Edition without Bobby Brown, then you could have Public Enemy. Because the reality is, they're more than just that person. So the group, it's Chuck D, it's the DJ, it's the SW1s.
Yeah.
So it's more than. Now he is an integral part and part of the brand and what people think of when they think of. Big part of what they think of when they think of Public Enemy. But at the end of the day, yeah, anybody can be replaced apparently, and
I guess.
that was I was kind of even. I thought you was gonna ask,
Well,
is there a Public Enemy? Like, does Public Enemy still exist? Like, that was
right.
the kind of the reminder. Like, oh yeah, I guess I know Chuck D, in terms of he's still out there, and I see him on Twitter and stuff like that. So, not that the people don't exist, but I didn't know they were still rocking as a group,
Right.
to
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you could be fired from something that I just didn't know they
It's
were
not
doing
active,
anyway.
right?
Right,
But I know,
like,
and I know,
he
like
like,
in past years, they've gone through stuff with Flavor. He wasn't touring with them anymore, and they finally reconciled. And I know they went through some stuff with Terminator X, and it's always been some ebbs and flows. I don't think they officially ever kicked anyone out of the group. But I think the most
Griff.
surprising thing, Glymph, they did.
During the anti-Semitic
Yeah, and Griff
comment.
Griff got
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
But they kicked Flav out because apparently Public Enemy as a group and Chuck D supports Bernie Sanders, and they were at a Bernie Sanders rally and were performing. And Flavor was essentially like, "Ain't nobody ever come to me and clear this with me. I'm not a Bernie Sanders supporter." So nobody ever cleared this with me. I'm a member of the group too. And I guess he raised enough hell that they were like, "Man, we support Bernie. Kick rocks, Flav."
Well, apparently he sent a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
Flavor did, because it was like he took it to the legal route and was like you said, nobody asked this shit, and y'all need to chill on that. And I think Chuck responded, was like, "But this ain't your shit."
Mm-hmm.
So, like, at the end of the day, we ain't gotta ask you or consult you. Not to say that he couldn't or shouldn't have, because we a group. But if it ain't you, if it ain't yours,
yeah, that's a tough. Yeah, like that's a tough. Yeah, it's a tough line to cross, because like we're almost 150 shows in. And I think we have the understanding that, if it's any decision we have to make as a show, all of our input is necessary. I don't know if it's agreed or if it's legal, or if there's if I'm sure, Public Enemy is an entity legally.
Mm-hmm.
So if Flav is not legally a decision maker or stakeholder in Public Enemy legally, technically, they don't have to, but I would think that, damn, it's 30, almost 40 years y'all been together.
Yeah.
Like, I would think his input would be, if not needed, warranted.
Yeah, except it's Flavor Flav.
Right, yeah. And then all the shit over the last 20 years, you could have kicked him out of the group over.
After 40 years of listening to you, I was like, why am I even listening to this dude? Now, there's some folk, and, I ain't going to say no name, but there's some folk that you listen to and you're going to be like, I didn't have to listen to that.
Right.
Like, that shit right there was so crazy and garbled and made no sense that I wish I had them 5 minutes back.
True.
And you get to the point that it's like, nah, I'm not asking you this question because I don't trust you going to offer me a rational, well thought out, serious opinion.
Right.
So really, nah, fuck that. We going to make this decision here, and we not checking with Al, because we know Al be on some bullshit 80% of the time. So we just gonna let him know this what we doing
and just beat it, right?
And just beat it, because we know he be on that bullshit half the time. Really, like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what? Why did I even ask? That's what they get. That's probably where they've been with Flav. Why did we even ask him? What the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, and that's what and over the last, you think back to, like, people in our age group know Public Enemy and Flavor Flav, as how they were originally. Most people now know Flavor Flav as a reality star, as a reality TV star, and so all the crazy shit that he's done over the last 15, 20 years, they could have been kicked him out the group. So
Yeah,
this is probably just like his credit just that bad at this point that they just like, you know what, we'll find someone else to say the lyrics to 911.
the straw that broke the camel's back. Like,
yeah.
Really? Okay, we are done. We are done. And
right.
You know what? Yeah. They suspended him for a year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's not even a permanent fire. It was just like go home.
Right.
Just go home for a year.
Yeah. He's
just
like,
go home.
Oh, y'all gonna fire me? Yeah, boy. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, shit.
Set your clock for a year and come back. Oh, man.
But you know what's so interesting as we talk about how we know Public Enemy and who they were and who they are 40 years later, it's interesting that beef inside the group would come over a presidential candidate, like an election. Like, I mean, not to say that Public Enemy as a group has been pro or for any candidate or vote or not to vote. I have no idea what their stance has been. Right. It's just interesting that they've been a very, 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 very political, pro-black voice, conscious voice in black since the late 80s. And at the end of the day, we have beef because I want our group to go perform at this 80-year-old white running for president who claiming to be a socialist, and you don't.
Yeah.
That's beefing over.
Oh, yeah. Like, you look at all the shit that we've seen hip hop groups break up beef over. They beefing over Bernie Sanders, over a 70-year-old white dude.
That's what we all get over.
Oh, man. First the fat boys break up. Every day I wake up.
Hello.
Yeah, man. So maybe in a year they can squash this shit. We'll see.
Yeah, but it's and you know, to a whole nother thing, like in terms of hip hop consciousness and industry and culture, like how many hip hop groups even talk about the election, and to the point that it would, they get involved with a candidate to the extent that it might cause beef. Like, I don't see that in hip hop artists at all. And not to say that, I mean, you don't see in a lot of industries. Maybe acting, you see it there though. They kind of get behind candidates. Yeah. But at this point, the hip hop industry ain't really political like that.
Right, and I mean, I guess hence the fact that Public Enemy is the subject at this point because they're a 40-year-old group. You ain't seeing no new groups standing up for no politics. And it's, and I guess to me, it reeks of, politicians, white politicians going after the black vote, and always got to have a rapper involved in the show, an athlete involved in it. Like, pandering for the black vote. Let's go find a rapper to support us. Or go find an athlete to support us. Just make a public statement like, or put hot sauce in my purse. That's the shit we're going to do.
I'm black.
Right. Let's put some hot sauce in my purse and, y'all know I love black folks. I love the blacks. So, Public Enemy and Bernie Sanders, I guess, it fits that it's fitting. It's kind of apropos that Bernie Sanders is, 73 years old, and he got to go reach out to Public Enemy.
So, true that.
Wouldn't make sense for him to have the Migos up there.
Nah. But then would Biden get the Migos though? And honestly, to me, I'm okay with you connecting with popular icons to gain and to create enthusiasm and get people engaged in the process.
All right.
Because at the end of the day, like what I know is that young people don't vote enough.
Right.
And so when I was young, if, De La Soul had came like, yo,
right.
we're going to be at this Bill Clinton rally. We're going to perform a song or two. Yo, won't you come on out, listen to my music, and while you're here, listen to the candidate. Yeah. It might have got me there. It might have got me there.
Yeah, and
Tribe Called Quest was like, "Yo, we doing a show."
Right.
I might have been there.
Yeah. It's life's a game of enrollment, so they got to play the game too. And politicians are the best at playing the game. So,
it's a numbers game. It's
right.
a numbers game.
So, and again in the year, hopefully they squash it because, like you said, man, just to have. Public Enemy's are hip hop icons. They're pioneers. So if they still on the road and still touring and still doing shows in any capacity, I want to see Flav. If I have a chance to see them, I wouldn't want to see them without Flav if it's possible to have him there. So squash that shit, and then they'll all be pissed off if Bernie don't win anyway, and then they all be mad as hell. And Flav will be like, "I told you so." So.
For nothing, right?
For nothing.
Like, he out for nothing.
He support this loser.
Win.
Right.
Wow. But so then it's like, yo, it would be crazy. And, if he was the win and he appointed Chuck D as some
hip-hop
person in his
liaison
cabinet.
Right.
Right. You my advisor. Like, wait a minute. All of that over a concert?
Right. Oh, man. So, I don't know. We'll see. But again, and you can't substitute the lyrics for I called 911 a long time ago. Like, can't nobody else do that shit. So, squash that shit. Or otherwise, just don't perform that song.
They can't. And it's crazy. That is a little difference. One difference between hip hop and say an R&B group, because you can't get nobody to sing Flavor Flav lyrics like these are Temptations, and you just bring another replacement. Nah, there's only one Flavor Flav.
Right. So we'll see. Little NBA talk. So I think since
Jay, you muffled. You a little muffled.
Thomas Stevens, what's good? I told you how long you been here, sir.
What's good? What up, gentlemen? I heard you guys talking about Flav. Flav just came in on the butt end on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you the same question, man. Is there a Public Enemy without Flavor Flav?
No. How? No. I mean, nah. I can't see it. I mean, not saying that he was the lyric, but he was the entertainment piece. So it was like he was the when you see the Rolls Royce, the first thing you see is the double R on the hood. Right. So he's like he's what you notice about him. So nah.
Yeah, I guess if Chuck D's the engine, Flav is the hood ornament.
Exactly.
Right. Damn right.
Right.
And the car don't look right without the hood ornament. That's the first thing. You're like, hey, what's car, man?
Exactly. Like the Audi, engine, it's an Audi when you see the rings.
Right.
You know it's a Lexus when you see the L.
Right. Like the engine can drive be like, this bitch drive like a beauty. Yeah, but it ain't got no hood ornament. Fuck that.
Right.
Your shit is black, B.
Right.
That ain't no Rolls Royce. I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
I drive like a Rolls Royce.
That ain't not how I be.
Right. All the bells and whistles, but it's not a Rolls Royce.
Right. Like, I guess what we saying is Public Enemy without Flavor is a Chrysler 300. That's what the fuck we saying.
That just ain't the same, though.
That shit ain't the same. That ain't the same.
Something different about that. Something ain't right.
That's tough.
Hey, that's different, B.
That's different.
That's way different. Oh, man. Pooh, what's good, man?
Man, hey, nothing, man. I just been sitting here while I was waiting on Chiquita and them to get done.
It ain't Chiquita them. It's Cornbread Fed.
You right, Cornbread Fed. I was waiting on Cornbread Fed to get done. They was doing their thing. The show sounds great, but as they was working, I was working on the Speak the Truth joint, getting that nailed up and ready to go. So I'm ready for that, and I'm very interested in checking their show out too. It sounds pretty good.
Cool. Is she around you? She can talk about her show a little bit.
She hold one moment. Let me call her in.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even know. Okay, we got another show.
Yeah. So
breaking news, y'all.
All right. So, when we launch new shows on the network, we try not to like cross boundaries and have anybody step in anybody's lane.
Right.
And so with Lynn and Kim, kind of doing what they do, Skeeter and them wasn't quite sure if they would cross over into their lane, but they was like, we want to go ahead and get started at least. So they started Cornbread Fed, with Chiquita and Quanda and a few other. I don't know who. I know Chiquita and Quanda, her sister, and and Queen Tessie. So
Let me just say,
here.
What up, sis?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, just wanted you to.
This is Al.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet you.
I hear the voice all the time.
All right.
nice to hear from you.
All right. Welcome to the network.
Yeah.
Welcome to the flagship.
What's going on?
All right. Not
What
much.
up?
So Pooh's telling y'all just finished recording. I was like, man, get Keita on. Have her tell us about her show and what the show is about and who all's on the show and what folks can look forward to, where they can find you. Go ahead and plug that thing.
Yeah, well, we just started a show. We just recorded our third episode, and it's called Cornbread Fed, and it's with three girls, with myself, Tessie, and Quanda, and it's just all about, it's like a women empowerment type show, but then we also do an interview every show, and it's just to encourage women, just talk about a little bit of issues, little topics that we have, and then we also have like the No Shade Challenge, trying to mend in more relationships with women, because we don't have that connection that you guys have. Y'all got the bruh code. We need to have more of a female code with each other. So we're trying to get that relationship going because we need it. We always, telling each other like we can't do it or not bringing the next woman on for anything. And so it's just like just talking, having a good time, and just interviewing a couple women. We actually interview women and men. Cool. So it doesn't matter. It's just a really good show. Definitely plug in the Cornbread Fed, and we also have a group that we have, an organization called Erratic Behavior. So you can check us out on Instagram.
Cool. Good, man. Yeah, I checked out the first couple episodes. I'm impressed. The first couple episodes, y'all doing a good thing. So,
thank you. We had an awesome interview today with Dr. Kendra Hill, and she talked about some issues that women have in leadership roles, and so it's a good show. We did a wonderful show tonight.
Cool, good stuff.
Hey, that's dope. Congratulations.
Thank
sounds like
you.
a great concept. Look forward to listening.
Thank you. Cool. And you guys rock.
Appreciate it. And we're going to have to talk since your husband had that conversation.
All right, thanks. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Yeah. Sorry. That's
that's
y'all,
cool. That's the hot shit about being on the flagship, ladies and gentlemen. We get treated by having access to the dope shit. So,
damn right.
Yeah.
Impromptu
nice
dope
right
shit.
Yeah.
Right. So, good shit, man. So, thanks for that.
No doubt.
Want to check in with the sis, and just so she let everybody know what they're doing. And man, we got I don't know what the hold up is with hubby getting them on the network, but we'll talk.
I don't know. I'm just waiting.
Oh, well,
wait on. Put it out in the air. I hear her talking about it.
Okay. Well, she know the conference line. Tell her to jump on. We can all jump on.
Exactly.
As I always say, I'm always available.
She was talking about it the other day.
Okay.
Yeah, she was like, I heard her telling her, talking to her comrades about it. So, so she's networking. So that's, that's cool.
No doubt. And, let her know, as always, whether they decide to join the network or not, if they need advice or any kind of, anything, we always here to help.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, man, we're going to jump into a little bit of NBA talk right quick. So, have y'all watched the Rockets play since, over the last 2 weeks ago? or so since the trade deadline. So I want to know from you guys, can the Rockets really contend for a title with a full commitment to small ball? I think their tallest starter is 6'7", in Covington. Pooh, what you think?
I have to be honest, Jay, I hadn't watched them. However, I am extremely familiar with the small ball with D'Antoni. Western Conference Finals. That's probably as far as he can get. Once they get to, I guess, elite players or teams that just as good, shooters, scorers. I think the length is gonna it's gonna get the Lakers through, or it's gonna get the Clippers through. Right. I don't think they can beat either one of those teams. Not in the 7-game series.
Yeah, Al, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. They might win. I'll give them a series. I don't even think they'd make it to the Western Conference Finals. Right. Because I think to Poole's point, the offensive and defensive rebounding challenge is gonna hurt them. Meaning, when they're putting up their threes, they ain't gonna get a chance for rebounding. Chances are not, and they're gonna be giving up extra points on the other end of the court because teams are gonna put up shots where they big man is gonna able to get rebound. And I also think as you get longer into the playoffs, some of those tall guys are just as agile. Or quick, or at least able to contest some of those threes, which that height, you can shoot over people, but length does make it a harder shot. And I think when you get to the playoffs and teams start playing defense, to Poole's point, that length is going to make a big difference, and right. I don't think they're going to go that far with it.
Yeah, again, I think I agree. That'll get you a series, against, if you're playing maybe, that's tough to like maybe Dallas, or that may get you a series, but like I asked this question because last night they played the Knicks and they made 23s, which is right in line with what they want to do. But they were out rebounded. Hello, Robin Hood. They were out rebounded by 31 against a bad Knicks team.
Correct.
And when you I don't care who you playing. If you out rebounded by 31 rebounds, you're gonna lose. And that's a bad Knicks team, and that's against the likes of Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle. And so, like you said, when you get into the playoffs and you're facing, a Lakers team with Dwight Howard, and even if they have to go small ball to match you up, they can still put Anthony Davis at center and still out athletic. Be more athletic than you are. You have Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers, who can still be just as athletic as a defender and on the boards. In Denver with the Joker, so it's not going to work in the playoffs. And I get it. It's probably best for them if they're going to be a small ball team to fully commit to it. But I just can't see it being successful on a playoff level as a contender.
Right. Right.
So their wild card is Harden and Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
And that come playoff time, I think they're going to pretty much rely on them to average, combined for 75, 80 points to win games. And tough. I think in a playoff season, these two superstars can, be dynamic. And if they, went on a 6-7 week hot streak, to where they were just playing crazy, I really think, that's their vision. I think that's their path to success is we get to the playoffs and we're going to ride Harden and Westbrook and see if they can just get us there. But I don't think that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, because I think against the elite teams, again, you don't really have an advantage if you make the Lakers go small and play AD at center. Because he can still guard Covington, and so it's not like you gaining anything on the offensive end. It's just again and again, you go with your strengths. I just think at some point having a guy like Clint Capella would help you in the playoffs, especially when the games slow down and teams can throw it down to the block. And PJ Tucker, as much as I like him and as good as he is, it has to wear on him over weeks and series of having to guard dudes, 6'11", 7 feet tall, night after night after night. Like, some nights he ain't gonna be able to give you anything.
Nope. But it does project into a nice second round matchup. If you look at Houston, the Clippers, and the Lakers, if they all advance, you figure Houston's gonna have to play one of those LA teams, and I think those gonna be that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, and it's definitely fun. That's one thing. It's going to be entertaining. And again, with Harden and Westbrook, it's going to be some firepower on the floor. So it'll be fun to watch. We'll see. No.
Yeah, I just don't think they'll get you a title, though.
No.
Which is my problem with D'Antoni as a coach since he was a Knicks coach. It's like, as fun as some of his games might be to watch, and as innovative as he is offensively, and what he brings to the league in terms of entertainment value, he ain't gonna ever win you a title, though.
Nah,
never.
Yeah, nah.
I don't see
unless he got lucky and was like, if he was lucky and was like blessed with like getting lucky in the lottery and landing like Tim Duncan, like a big that you have to play. You ain't trading Tim Duncan to play small ball. You know what I'm saying? So if he got lucky like that, maybe he can luck into a championship, but that shit ain't happening. D'Antoni's
who was the NFL coach that brought in the run and shoot? I can't think of what that motherfucker's name was right now, but he's the NBA version of that dude. Like, offensively off the chain. But you saw against defense. You know what? He was the coach for the Falcons. You're right.
It was either Glanville or who was the Chandler? What's his name? Chandler, the coach for the Oilers. One of them two.
Chandler was their quarterback at one point.
Not Chandler. What was the coach? The blonde haired guy, kind of chubby. Who was coaching Warren Moon?
That was Glanville. Glanville was their coach.
It was Glanville.
Yeah, okay. Glanville was the Oilers coach when they ran the run and shoot. And then he went to the Falcons, right?
I just had a picture of somebody else in my head.
All right, and I mean, there's been like iterations of it before, like Air Coryell, but there was a different. Like, he passed it a lot, but it wasn't a run and shoot.
But yeah, another one. Like, defense matters when it gets to championships
and ball control.
That too,
right?
That too. So yeah, I don't see them ever winning with him as a.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it's sustainable.
Fun to watch, though.
Damn sure it's fun to watch. Last week, y'all, we talked about, again, I don't even know, it was impromptu. We kind of started talking about our favorite athletes of all time. And we didn't really get to dive into it because, again, it was an impromptu conversation. We just asked one question and kind of moved on. I kind of wanted to dig a little deeper into that. So, really, I'm going to go through every major sport. I want y'all to tell me who your favorite athlete of all time in that sport is and why.
Okay.
So, Al, you first. NFL. Who's your favorite NFL player of all time?
Probably of all time.
And why?
Probably Walter. I'm probably gonna say Walter Payton.
Okay.
I mean, of all time. Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard to pick, but I think Walter as a child represented someone who was at the top of the sport, but just played the game the way I thought it should be played. And like, just as a kid, I just loved that style of just all out, tough, physical. Didn't run out of bounds, leaped over, humble, could do it all from a black school. I was a big Peyton admirer. But I mean, to be honest though, in the NFL, I really, that list is probably about 15, 20 players. I really,
Right.
the something about the NFL that you just like. Ronnie Lott is another player that I really really liked. Palomalu, another Emmitt Smith. So it's some Cowboys in there. I mean, it's hard to really point one, but to think about the longest player, the guy I liked first, probably was Walter Payton.
Okay. Pooh, what say you? NFL player. You probably gonna double up right here.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say Walter as well. He was the first person that just captured my heart, and he's just the epitome of play every game like it's your last. Like every carry, every block, everything. It was like it could be my last, so I'm gonna play it as if it is. Right. He played all. It was bigger than life, man. It's just like his heart was on his jersey, like in between the 3 and the 4, it was his heart there. So I'm definitely going with Walter.
Cool. Yeah, I kind of explained mine last week as Lawrence Taylor. He's, to me, the most dominant NFL player I've ever seen, and he changed the game. When I always hold people in high regard who actually force the game to be changed as far as how it's played and rules change. He changed the game from tight ends and running backs blocking linebackers to them having to dedicate actual offensive linemen with backs chipping, and like he's the reason for all that. And he just said a lot of cool shit. Like, he tells them, let's go ahead and like a bunch of crazed dogs. Or when you sack a quarterback and you say, man, y'all got to do better than this. Like, that's some cool shit to say. So, you got to go on instead. Pooh, NBA. Why is Michael Jordan your favorite player of all time? I ain't even got to ask.
He just made everything look good. Everything Mike did, it was like, it was poetry in motion. It was like watching figure skating. It was just grace and IQ, knowledge, pure athletic ability, hunger, a madman, passion. Like, he just embodied everything that you wanted to be. So, that's Mike to me.
No doubt. Al, I think I know. Are we going with Magic?
Yeah, so I have testified of why Magic is an important player, in my life, and why I've always really, really liked him since college. But add some diversity to this. I'm going to say, because and you know what's so interesting though? In the NBA, my list isn't that long for some reason. Like, it's probably 5 or 60 as opposed to the NFL, which is a little longer.
Right.
That's an interesting conversation to have too. Why is that? But still, I'm going with Bernard King. And Bernard, for some reason, and he wasn't a Knick for like a long, long time. Like Patrick is another one who I'm fond of, but Patrick was a Knick for over a decade.
Right.
Bernard captured New Yorkers' hearts. He probably played 5 or 6 seasons there.
Right.
And I think just looking at probably being exposed to New York basketball more than I was exposed to the Laker basketball at the time, because they really are of the same era in terms of me falling in love with the sport of basketball. Magic and Bernard were probably going back and forth, but I think being a local kid, New Yorker, reading about him, seeing him, watching more of their games, I'm a big Bernard King fan, and he's just one of them NBA players or professional athletes that while you didn't win a championship, kind of like probably for some people Carmelo Anthony in some ways, like you didn't win a championship, but while you was here, you gave it everything and you played well, and for that, we appreciate that. And so he's somebody that, New Yorkers of my generation just loved that kid, loved how he brought it. So Bernard King.
That's a good one. First off, don't you ever mention Bernard King and Carmelo Anthony in the same breath again. But
but I'm telling you, in terms of what they accomplished for that franchise,
right.
I bet you they would have comparable stats.
Probably so, yeah, and probably like comparable like love from fans. So I get it. Funny thing about Bernard King, funny story. So this was before, like, the Bulls. I think the Bulls may have been one championship in, and so I was in 8th grade, and it was like the second, third game of the season. And at that point, I was, again, I didn't really have an NBA team, but I liked the Bulls at that point because they were young and they were exciting. And so season started, I was like, man, when you're young, it hurts you more when the team loses. So I remember like seeing SportsCenter that night, and the Bulls lost to the Knicks. And again, I'm in the 8th grade, so I'm 13. I didn't really know like a lot of basketball history, so I was like, who is this Bernard King, old ass Bernard King dude that lit the Bulls up for like 40? All I remember is this dude hitting baseline turnaround, fadeaway, all buckets. And I had never heard of him because I think he was coming off either an injury or suspension or something, so he hadn't played in the previous. Yeah,
his knee. He tore his knee.
Yep, and so he didn't play the previous season, so I had no idea who Bernard King was. Man, that dude torched the Bulls for like 40, and they lost. That's how I learned. That was my introduction to Bernard King. So,
it's funny you remember those turnaround because that was his game, man. Yeah. I mean, he was a post up beast and had a real quick release, and it was just unguardable. Just old school unguardable.
Right. Yeah. Mine, I mean, I talked about this before, and it's funny, Al, we'll have to have this conversation because my list in NBA is not as deep as it is in the NFL either. My NBA favorites, like, of all time list is probably 4 to 5 players deep. So, of course, I'm a Shaq guy, I'm a Barkley guy, but again, Larry Johnson tops everybody for me. And probably because of the time he came along and how influential he was on my game. And you'll notice all the dudes I like are big dudes, not just tall dudes, but they got to be big too. And as a kid who, my body type kind of lended me towards football, but I was a better basketball player. So, before you hit college, you can get away with being a 5'11" power forward. As I got to college, barely scraping 6 foot power forward. So, that wasn't going to happen. But in my, being able to, middle school, high school, being able to get away with playing those positions and emulating my game after bigger guys who were undersized for the position height-wise, Larry Johnson was my dude, man. That's 6'6", 6'7", a monster in the post, crazy footwork, and, amazingly explosive. I even rocked the part in the middle of my head throughout high school. Which my cousin JJ stole it from me, but that's all right. But yeah, LJ was my dude, man. But yeah, we'll have to have that conversation. I don't know. I never thought about it that way, but yeah, my list is a lot shorter than NBA.
I don't know what that's about.
Right. Al, college football. Who's your favorite player in college football ever?
Ooh, college football. I would say my favorite college football player ever was Charles Woodson.
Okay. Damn good one.
Yeah. I am Michigan, one of the teams I pulled for since I was a kid. And, he's just like, I just love the way he stepped up, would play all types of, just a playmaker. I think coming from, looking at Deion Sanders and how he affected the game on both sides of the and returning kicks. Like I look at this dude like he wasn't as impactful all over the field, but he was a much better like tackler, and then like that side of the defensive side. I like the way he was more than just a cover dude. So yeah, I just like his toughness. Charles Woodson is probably my favorite player. Then he ends up with the Raiders. And I hated the Raiders. So like, ew, I gotta let you go, baby. Yeah. I'll let you go for a while. I can't root for you in the Raiders.
Right, and historic in college. He's the first predominantly defensive player to win the Heisman. So, he's a historic player. Pooh, college football. Did Deion translate from college to NFL, or you had a different college guy?
College man was Reggie Bush.
Hey, I should have known that shit.
Yeah, you should have known that.
Yeah, I mean the fights we almost got in over that dude.
Man, I would drive to anywhere, any sports, but anywhere to see that Trojan team play. I had to see Reggie Bush. He was. I really can't explain it. It was almost, I was watching Falk all over again. It was Reggie Bush, man, college.
Yeah, Reggie was dope. Funny you mentioned Marshall Falk. Well, Marshall Falk's one of my favorites. So quick sidebar. I'm lucky enough to have a kid who's a football fanatic, right? So Lincoln's my little football junkie. So occasionally he wants to learn about players, that before his time. So I show him highlights and we just watched Marshall Falk's highlights the other day, and it brought back so many memories from him in college, because back then we didn't have 8 ESPN channels and the internet and all this shit. Like, you had to stay up late to see San Diego State play. And I remember staying up late just to watch Marshall Falk, because dude was killing it every Saturday night. Like, it was crazy. Like, you was guaranteed at least 2 80-yard runs. Marshall Falk was so dope in college. So mine kind of came down to 3 players. It was Marshall Falk, Vince Young, but at the end of the day, Ricky Williams won out for me. I used to love watching Ricky play in college, man. Again, bigger back, who was, I like big, like fast, athletic running backs, and just my style of back. And I was a Texas fan growing up. So Ricky Williams that dude was so good. It was ridiculous.
Special shout out, special mention, Michael Vick.
Oh yeah. That dude.
Yeah. Like, watching him in college to me was like, he was one of the few players at that time that, like, I'm like, okay, his team ain't all of that, but I want to watch him play. Because he would just do some, special things to elevate that team. And he kind of, brought that into professional players. But, like, in college, Virginia Tech, Michael Vick was worth the price of admission.
Yeah. Yeah, when they played his redshirt sophomore year, when they played Florida State in the national championship, and he was the best player on the field. Like, and you know how many athletes Florida State had back then on defense. It was ridiculous. Like, they had no answer for him. Finally, he literally gave out of gas. Like, dude was just laying on the ground and had to be carried off the field. It was crazy. But Michael Vick was so dope in college. Al, who's college basketball? Who's your favorite college basketball player ever?
So it would probably be a combination of Allen Iverson, and Chris Mullin. So, just Big East. Also, St. John's, Georgetown's a team I grew up watching and continue to kind of follow both of those programs. Was fans from when I was a teenager, but St. John's just became, the local team that just became a fan of, and Chris Mullin just loved the way he played the game, especially being from Queens. But Iverson, man, I enjoyed watching him so much that actually he was in Atlanta at a game, one of the NBA March Madness games, and went down to watch him, and that was rare, just to go see a player that I think he was playing Marcus Camby, just to see them go battle against each other. I would say it was Iverson, special player. The way his effort and his quickness, you just never know what you was going to get when he was on the court, but it was going to be electric. And he had ups, crossover. I would say AI was
Speed.
right up there.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Pooh, who's your favorite college basketball player ever?
Ever, man. Y'all not gonna believe this, man. But dude, I really I'm just going back to I got to change it right at the last moment. But I was gonna say Marcus Camby. Because I love watching Marcus defense, rebounds, because his game was a lot like my game. I wanted to play D, I wanted to block his shot, I wanted to lock it. So I just love Marcus. But as I think about it, as a young man growing up, didn't want to miss a game, loved this team. It was Chris Webber. It was Chris Webber with the Fab Five, man. I of course I stayed up nights and watching those guys go. That's the reason why I hate Duke. That's the reason why I hate Carolina. Because they beat them boys. But Chris Webber, man. Chris Webber.
Yeah. Fucking man. When he came into college basketball, he was grown. College basketball, that's tough, man. Of course, I love Larry Johnson, but I was not a UNLV fan early on, so it took a while for him to grow on me because I hated them so much.
Did you?
Yeah, just because I tell you why. I think I hated Greg Anthony more than I liked Larry Johnson. I hated Greg Anthony with a fucking passion. But Larry Johnson grew on me, but I didn't really like I ain't really go nuts over LJ until he got to the pros. So it was him. And then as a youth, and Grant Hill is another one I love. But as a youth, growing up, I was a Georgia Tech fan. Partly because my sister was good friends with James Forrest, so became a Georgia Tech fan. And but even before that, Kenny Anderson, man,
Ken do,
man. When they had it was Kenny Anderson, D. Scott, and Brian Oliver. Kenny Anderson was. And as a freshman, his handles, he was the first dude, once I understood basketball, to have handles like that. And he was left-handed. His game was just beautiful to me. So I had to go Kenny Anderson. Shaq is another one I like in college. Corliss Williamson was another one. But Kenny Anderson probably gives me the best memories. Steph Marbury. Another one too.
As you talked about these guards with great handles coming out of New York, I can't forget Dwayne the Pearl Washington, who I had the opportunity to see in a high school all-star game where the best all-stars from the city the bunch in that game. And Yo, it was one of the best basketball performances I had ever seen in my life, and to see him go off to Syracuse and ultimately get into the pros, and but to go back to that game, and he was a New York City legend in high school, and then to see him in that high school game, I was just like, damn, this dude's the truth. And then to see him going, I just always went back to that game, me standing in the crowd watching that kid score 56 points against other great high school players, and it was just he was a man against. And it's you see it now, and where you're just like, yo, that could be playing for the pros now, and in high school or in college. I hadn't really made that thought at that age. Like, this kid don't even belong in this court. He need to be getting paid somewhere. Why y'all got him in this game? He don't belong in this game. He bullying these kids. He don't belong in this game. He's too special. But So shout out to Pearl Washington.
And hey, before you move on, I do want to say Webb was my favorite. However, just going back looking at a talented, probably Jamal Mashburn might be like the most talented player I could remember seeing play.
He was good though.
Man,
I hated
him too, man. But that boy could do everything.
Yeah, Mashburn was nasty. Yeah, and it's funny, like like that era of college basketball. Like it was fun. Like Keith Van Horn was another one that was good in college.
Yeah, Keith was sweet. Yeah, Keith was sweet.
But I hated everything attached to Kentucky. If you drove through Kentucky, and I hated you.
You hated right.
But except that D. Remember, we'd be in the backyard playing basketball. We're like, that Tucky.
Hey, and we playing 21 now.
Right.
And we yell out Kentucky.
Full court press.
Has the ball, everybody pressing them.
Like a dog on a bone.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Right. Kentucky, everybody.
He can't score.
Right. That dude hit 19. Tucky. Everybody slapping the floor and everything. That's crazy.
Memories.
Right. I may be wasting my time with this one, but Major League Baseball. Who's your favorite player?
I knew where you're going. Ken Griffey Jr. Man,
okay.
just for the swag and just for the nickname, the kid, and just for that beautiful swing.
Right.
Yeah. And that's about all I know about baseball. But Ken Griffey Jr.
No doubt. Al?
Junior was definitely one of my all-time favorites, so I definitely can co-sign that. But I'm going with Jeter, and definitely a few Yanks that are on my list. Ricky Henderson, Reggie Jackson, Mattingly. Definitely some big fans of those cats. But Jeter was the one who, I guess, his career really consumes a lot of my Yankee memories. 20 years of a career and him being a success from rookie all the way to the end is, something that I'll remember. He played it the right way, played hard, didn't cheat. I think, was just his nickname, the captain, was just that leader. He was just a player that made it fun to watch. I think when you got those players who can rise to the moment, kind of remain poised and still come through in the clutch, like those are just the greatest of the greats, whatever sport it is. And, I think what Jeter will go down for in some of his iconic plays is not just that they were just real special plays, like plays you just don't see, like being made like once, twice in a lifetime type plays, but they were made on the biggest of stages, a lot of them. And to me, like that really is what separates the greatest, is the ones who are able to still make the great plays when it mattered the most. True. And that's who that dude was, El Capitan. So yeah, I'm a big Jeter fan.
Yeah, a good one. Yeah, mine would again another big dude, Frank Thomas.
The big hurt.
Yeah, and again the nickname. We're going to talk about this next week. Is our favorite sports nicknames of all time too, because I think these three. I think like really good sports nicknames are like a lost art. Nowadays we just give them nicknames based off their initials, you know, like KD, AI, AD. Like we ain't creative at all no more. But you know, you look at these three players we're talking about. You know, the kid, the captain, the big hurt. Like those are classic nicknames. But yeah, Frank Thomas again. I was a huge White Sox fan. Still probably like the only team that would like I would watch on if they made the World Series. I would watch the entire World Series. That ain't happening because they suck right now. But yeah, like man, Frank Thomas was, you know, he was a tight end at the University of Alabama, and University of
Is that
Auburn.
where he went?
Auburn. I'm sorry, the University of Auburn.
Dang, he came out the SEC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was, you know, again, he was a big dude, football player playing baseball. He used to just crush the ball, man. I used to love Frank Thomas. So he would be mine. Al, NHL, who's your favorite player of all time?
I'm going with Mark Messier. He is why I like him most is because he's known as a Ranger. You know, he played with the Oilers before that. But he came to my favorite franchise at a time where I knew a little bit about hockey, but not so much. Just kind of coming out of college, so was kind of grown with, you know, my knowledge of the sport, and just kind of knew that, you know what, I got a team in New York to follow, so let me learn and follow that team at the same time. And at that time, here comes this guy to this franchise and takes them to the Stanley Cup, and they hadn't won the Stanley Cup in like 40, 50 years. So I just kind of, you know, started paying attention at the right time because they were actually winning and shit. Right. But what made this dude just a clutch leader, like, you know, men of men type dude. So where he was someone who could score, who could pass, who played D. He was a leader. He'd fight. So I go with Mark Messier. And, you know, what's so ironic about me, you know, kind of liking this dude is in a franchise before that with the Edmonton Oilers, I think he won like 4 or 5 Stanley Cups. Him and Wayne Gretzky. Right. So this if you know, for all those who know Wayne Gretzky, when he was with the Oilers, Mark Messier was his number 2 man, right. And they were dominating the league together. And then, you know, Gretzky left, Messier leaves, and you know, the franchise is never the same. But yeah, mine would be Mark Messier.
Okay. Pooh, NHL, you got a favorite?
Yeah, you know, don't know much about it. I can only go by the legends and the allure, the things I've heard. And I got to stick with the nicknames and go with the chosen one, man. I mean, I'm sorry, the great one. But I'm going to go with Wayne Gretzky. I can just from the story that I heard when he was 9 years old, you know, playing in Canada, they said people would drive 300 miles to see him play. And his father was like, you know, you always, you know, go out there, play your best because you never know who's watching you. All right. Like you're making people lives. They're coming to see you. You know, they're taking off work. They spending $300-400 to come see you, and you're just playing youth hockey. Mm-hmm. You know, right. So don't take it for granted. So, you know, the great one, man, Wayne Gretzky.
No doubt.
I mean, that man dominated the sport like it hasn't been dominated since.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's rare that you have in a sport that they typically evolve to where the people who come after you exceed you in terms of your performance.
Right.
Ain't nobody been able to dominate the game the way he did since him. And that says a lot about his career.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. First of all, shout out to Jerome Agenda, the first black dude I ever paid attention to in NHL. Dude was a beast. He could skate. He was fast. He was explosive. I used to love watching him play. But considering I'm a Blackhawks fan, and Jeremy Roenick has probably got to be my favorite NHL player.
Oh
of
yeah.
all time.
Oh yeah.
So just from when the Blackhawks, in the '90s in their heyday with Roenick and Chris Chelios, those guys, it was it's fun watching them play. So Roenick always stood out to me. He's one I always rooted for.
Yeah, tough dude, man. Another guy who could skate, would fight, clutch.
Right.
Yeah. Great player.
Pooh, lastly, who's your favorite boxer of all time?
Oh man, Iron Mike.
Mike, right?
Period. I know where you guys gonna go, but Iron Mike's my guy.
Okay. Al. Yeah. I'm curious to know who you think I'm gonna go. Al.
Yeah, right. Me too. Wait.
Well, who you think we going with?
Man, I mean, all I ever hear you guys talk about is Muhammad Ali.
Oh, okay.
And Jay, I remember coming over your house, 15, 16 years old, man, and you got all the tapes and DVDs and posters. Like, who else could it be?
No, we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see. Right. Right.
I mean, I do love Ali, but we'll see. Al, who's your guy?
I say my favorite would have to be Mike Tyson. Yeah, like
okay.
I definitely, I mean, just because he's the one that I watched most, and Muhammad, I was a kid as he was doing his thing. So while I have seen his fights, I wasn't caught up in the rapture of his fight, so to speak. So I think part of why Mike would be that dude is just because of like just coming out of New York and watching him from like ESPN. Like, he's just this dude that we know, watch his fights to now he's on pay-per-view to now he's the world champ, and it's like, oh shit, that dude did it. So I would say Tyson, but again, I've had some favorites though, so shout out to Muhammad, shout out to Hagler and Sugar Ray. Like I like them as fighters too. Not a lot of recent ones I would say though. I really have fell in love with per se. But probably the last one I really liked was Roy Jones.
Yeah, that's what first of all, I'm just gonna make this a clean sweep and say Mike Tyson as well. But y'all talked about him, so I'm gonna give a shout out to Roy Jones Jr., man. He's pretty close. I love Muhammad Ali, like you mentioned, Pooh. A lot of that is my father's influence. He's a huge Ali fan. But I never watched his fights live, so I couldn't really get caught up in it like that. But for the memories it gave me live watching him fight, I got to go Tyson. But as I got older and started paying more attention to Roy Jones, that dude was a beast. And just his style, the sheer athleticism of him not really having to develop a style. He was just like beating dudes and whipping them with one hand behind his back. So Roy Jones was special. Again, it was, like you said, not many dudes like get me caught up like that now, and like I can't miss their fight. Floyd's one of my favorites, but Mike was must see TV for everybody.
Mm-hmm. So, well, Roy was one of the. I mean, it's rare that you have an elusive fighter that can punch.
Yeah, right.
That could, punish you but still look nice as he's avoiding the punches. But when he hits you, you're gonna feel it. And so yeah, he was until he got knocked the fuck out.
Right. Yeah.
That was not fun to watch.
Nah, it wasn't. And I guess one current fighter who I'm hoping can get back to full strength is Errol Spence Jr. I love Errol Spence.
Definitely.
Love watching him fight, but the car accident is he says he's going to be back to full speed, and within a couple year or two. So we'll see. I hope he can, because he's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. He was getting there, and I think he had a couple of big fights lined up for him if he could keep winning. So I thought he was on the cusp of developing into a mega star.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. Well, that was fun. So we'll have to dig more into the nicknames next week. But yeah, just want to kind of dig deeper into that conversation of y'all favorite players. So we're gonna jump into a commercial, and we'll come back with some buy or sell, a listener question, and wrap it up with some trivia. We'll be right back.
We're told that greatness is exceptional when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.
Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast. It's episode 147. That was Defy Life Gear. Definitely go check it out at defylifegear.com. We got everything, T-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, about to be spring. We got some new T-shirts dropping. The joggers are out there. The socks are out there. Tank tops. Get ready for the spring. So, yeah, definitely check it out at defylifegear.com. We are going to jump into our buy or sell segment. So it's our second week of doing the buy or sell. I'm excited about this one because I'm a Duke fan, and this is fun to talk about. So I'm going to, for those of you not familiar with our buy or sell segment, I'm going to make a statement. Pooh and Al are going to tell me if they buy it or if they're selling it and why. So my statement for this week: the narrative has shifted. Duke now supplies superior talent to the NBA than UNC. Al, you buying or selling?
I'm buying that heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Duke's ability to get these one and doners.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just getting the high quality team players year after year after year. You're looking at Zion. You're looking at Brandon Ingram. I mean, who else has come recently? Wendell Carter's come through there.
RJ Barrett.
Yeah. I mean, and historically, like, I think the narrative has been shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think North Carolina has not had and I think it's these kids are about recent success, and definitely what have you done for me lately, and Duke has been showing up for a while now, for years. I think the players have continued to go there knowing that they're going to be playing with other All-Americans, and they're going to get the opportunity to go to the pros if they perform.
Yeah. All right. Pooh, you buying or selling?
I'm probably gonna sell, man. And the only reason why I'm saying that
It's because you hate Duke.
is because other than Zion, I just can't really think of someone that's that Brandon Ingram's coming out now, but I can't really think of anyone that's a household name from Duke just right offhand. The last 5 years. So I mean, I can't think about a Carolina guy either. So I think they're, to me, neck and neck. I mean, other than, like I say, Zion.
No, so I'm guessing you're not familiar with Kyrie Irving.
Okay. I forgot about Kyrie.
Yeah, I guess you. You never
he's
heard.
hurt. He hurt so much. I forget about him.
Well, forget about him. I guess you never heard of Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum? What? Jason Tatum? He went to Duke?
He did go to
Yeah,
Duke.
it did.
See, I mean, he's coming into his own.
Oh, I guess you're not familiar with JJ Redick.
JJ Redick.
He's one of these
He's
arguably
solid.
the best 3-point shooter in the
solid.
league. One of the best in history.
JJ solid.
Yeah. But I'm guessing that you would say that Harrison Barnes, Danny Green are better than those guys?
No, not at all.
So
I was about to say who's coming out of the Tar Heels?
right. I get it. Marvin Williams.
No.
No.
The last guy. Okay, I give you guys that. I give you guys Duke, but the last guy to me that come out, I think Kobe's solid. Kobe White's pretty solid. I don't know why we're not playing him. I guess you guys want to make fun of me now because I'm talking about a Bull and he's from Carolina, whatever. But anyway,
we just making fun of you mentioning somebody who not playing.
Right. Like you saying, first of all, you say the Bulls suck. Then you say he ain't getting no playing time for the Bulls. But he's
playing. No, he's playing now. He's coming off the bench. Like we're not starting him, but he's having 8 points a game like the last 6 games.
All right.
And we're now he's playing like 20, 24, 25 minutes a game, and he's averaging 20, 28 points a game. Play the kid. We're in the tank. We're in the basement in the league. Why he's not starting is beyond me.
My correction. You mentioned somebody who's had a nice 2 weeks. My fault.
Right, he has.
True.
So more on so who's the last star? I don't even say superstar. Who's the last star from UNC?
Carolina?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Now that's a great question. The last star from Carolina.
Vince?
That's what I was about to say. Would it be Vince or Rashid?
Wow. Can't be that long, is it?
Dude,
can't be that long, is it?
Who else would it be? I could think of like some pretty good players, but
some solid guys. Yeah,
Raymond Felton, Harrison Barnes, Danny Green. But I gotta go Vince.
Wow, that's insane. Vince been in the league for 20 years.
All right.
That's insane. That's insane.
So who's the last star we have? I'm not even gonna put it that way. How many stars from Duke do we have in the NBA since Vince?
That time frame, right? And that 20-year time frame. Wow.
We just rattled. You could probably come up with a starting 5. If you
said Kyrie,
JJ Redick at the 2,
JJ Redick,
Brandon
Ingram,
Tatum,
Carlos Boozer,
Zion.
You got Zion.
Elton Brand.
Oh, yeah.
And this ain't even then we can get into guys that are not even stars, but they've been better than than UNC's put out. Right.
You
look at Mike Dunleavy.
That's what I'm saying.
Rodney Hood.
This narrative has been changed.
Right.
Oh, hey, I give you guys. Hey, I'm on
Justice
board now.
Winslow.
You guys have.
Austin Rivers, Luol Deng, Jabari Parker, Grant Hill. Ooh. Shane Battier.
Y'all got me.
Yeah, ain't no way I'm gonna let you sell that shit, Pooh. You gonna sell and wish you had bought.
No, I'm buying it. A fistful of dollars. I'm buying it.
All right. And I made that statement just because I think UNC fans still kind of live off of that narrative that that they put out better players than Duke, and that shit ain't been true in 20 years. Literally. 20 years.
Literally.
All right. Maybe Money can give us a different perspective. Shout out Money. He's a Tar Heels fan. Maybe Money know about some dudes we ain't never heard of that are stars in the NBA. So y'all keep living off Mike. Our listener question for this week. Oh, maybe Dexter can tell us. Dexter's from Charlotte. Dexter from Charlotte wants to know, Pooh. I've heard you guys say that there are things that are issues in relationships that no longer consider a priority since you've been married? What are some of those things? So I guess Dexter's kind of listened to us, just talk about how our perspective and priorities have changed since we've been married. And, like Al mentioned, it's kind of like being the difference in high school and college. Pooh, what are some of those things that are no longer a priority for you in your relationship now that you're married?
Oh, wow. No longer a priority in my relationship?
Yeah, like things that you just like, you know what, that shit don't even matter to me no more. Like, circle back on me. Let me ponder with that a little more. Hit Al up. Let me ponder on that one. All right, college professor Al, let me know some of those things that you just don't give a fuck about no more that you married, man.
Well, I guess I was one of the things in terms of priority. I was just thinking was more about hanging out with my homeboys, and just the socializing. And not that I don't enjoy it when I get to do it, but it just, I tend to spend more time at home and with my wife and my family than I did before I was married. So that definitely is something that isn't a priority as much once I got to be married. And it took a while for that to decrease, honestly. When I first got married, I was still hanging and still hadn't fully adjusted. But I think, once your marriage, you get more time in, then some of that other stuff becomes less important.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Like, that's one of the things for me that's definitely changed is, even like the longer you're married, like your wife becomes more your friend than your boys. Just because, just the time element. It's the shit, you live with somebody and you kind of share a life, you're going to become, better friends than most other people in your life. So that is, I do agree with that. One for me, I would think is, well, two things, because one kind of ties into that. One is like sparing things I do in my with my recreational time. Used to be, I could like to get with my dudes and play PlayStation or go play basketball, like just doing stuff just for me. But I guess, like you said, when you're married, you do things more jointly, that your wife has an interest in, and, eventually your kids. And then also I think for me is like not sweating like the petty, like trust issue stuff. When you're married over a certain point, like you just don't sweat the small shit anymore. And you like, I know, when you're younger and you're dating, and it's always who was you with, or, where you been at? And that can, even answering those questions, I don't entertain anymore. Because, as a married man, if you're in a healthy marriage, you are, as a dude, you're going to be where you're supposed to be most of the time. If I say I'm going to work, I'm going to be at work. If I say I'm coming straight home, I'm coming straight home. You have a different kind of respect for someone that you've built that life with. So I think it's those like petty trust issue things that I just are not issues for me anymore. Pooh, thought about anything?
Man, I guess I could give us the hat trick on the, hanging out with your people and, your homeboys. If when you do get that, it's definitely love, but it's not anything that you're pressing to do, once a week or whatever. Like you used to. And I definitely can hit that when you say, boy, we gonna crash, grab a cold beer, jump on that PlayStation and get it going. But I guess one thing that I really, really, of course you got, well, Jay know I was a huge sneakerhead. Right. So at one point in time, I probably had like 157 pair of J's and whatnot. So like I was flat out ridiculous. and I guess, and I still enjoy them, but it's not like I don't have that urge to get out there and jump on every sneaker and get every sneaker. It's probably been about a year and a half since I purchased a sneaker or whatnot. It's just, I just think about doing things with my wife, or, going out, having fun with her and putting that money towards that, just to, for us to have a good time, see her smile and things like that. So it's not a priority into me, I guess, having those type things anymore. I guess it goes along the lines of, as a child or boy, I, thought like a child, but, became a man and put away those other things. But it was, I guess I'm there now.
Yeah.
Yes. I like how you said that.
There, I guess I'm there. Yeah.
Because I still look back, I still window shop,
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with your eyes looking. I think, Jay, what you said, there's a African proverb that goes something like, before you get married, keep your eyes open. After you get married, close one of those eyes. And I think, what's a priority before you get married is you are going to be paying attention to people's flaws and, things that, might concern you. But I think, and you should do that. Like, I think that is the right approach to, before you commit to somebody, you are supposed to make, noticing those things and deciding, do you want to engage with those things, a priority? And I think sometimes people close their eyes before they get married, and you sitting there like, why are you putting up with this shit if you don't like it? But I think once you get married, the key to that longevity is that closing of that eye and being more tolerant and understanding and finding out ways to what other people outside your marriage might refer to as flaws. Once you are married and you decide this is the partner that you want to be with for the rest of your life, you figure out how to grow and kind of evolve even in the midst of those flaws. And so they become less of a priority, some of those shits. And you just kind of look past it and more.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. And especially the part you mentioned about like judging, because if you spend your entire marriage judging that person, your marriage ain't gonna last too long. Or if you feel judged in your marriage all the time, like, it's gonna be a short run. That shit gonna be like a blip on the radar, like a footnote, because that shit ain't gonna last long. But it's a lot of things that, like, you just don't concern yourself with once you start building a life with somebody. And or different things you take pride in, like Pooh, you mentioned, your sneakers. Like, I was always big on jerseys, and I was always like, buying jerseys as a young, especially when throwbacks were in and shit like that. And like, I probably got one jersey in my closet now, and I don't even wear it. It's just there because, just as, it's a Heinz Ward jersey that was like, just always been my favorite. But everything else is gone. But like now, I get more pride out of making sure my wife's oil is changed, or washing my cars on the weekend, shit like that, and taking my kids to their activities. It's just your priorities change.
Right.
You get a sense of pride out of doing different things. I laughed at my wife last weekend because one of her friends she grew up with was had a birthday, and she now lives they grew up together in New York, and the girl now lives in Raleigh. They don't get to see each other often, so she went to Raleigh for the girl's birthday party, and they went to a club. And I was just laughing the whole time because my wife was like, she was like, I know we're going to feel like the old ladies in the club. And I was like, yo, she was like, how this look? This looks look like, but I was like, you asking the wrong person, because I can't remember the last time I was like in a club to be at the club. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's just your priorities change. Like I always say, like hanging out with my boys has a different meaning now. Like if I'm hanging out with my boys, I'm literally hanging out with my boys and my kids, like young males. Or even they got friends over and we hanging out with them, or hangout night, club nights now become Disney Plus nights with the family.
Right. Monopoly. Monopoly and Uno.
Yeah. Right. I would say the only thing that hasn't changed is if we on a road trip, and I make this as a point of being a good father to my kids, is we still listening to hip hop on the entire trip. Like I ain't listening.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, so my kids are gonna know, that entire Biggie album. They gonna know who Wu-Tang is. Like they gonna know that shit.
There you go.
You listen to, Kids Bop on your own time, buddy.
Right. But then you have kids like my son who grow up and then they're sitting in a car with somebody and that person puts on a Mos Def album and my son is like, yo, hold on, wait a minute. My father used to play that. Yeah, okay, I remember this song right here. Yeah. So you got to raise them right when it comes to the music. Right. I ain't mad at you, but I will give you fellas a little warning, not even warning, just something to look forward to. Once your kids get out the house now, then you get a little bit more freedom to go beyond just the game night and the kid-friendly opportunities of hanging with friends and their wives and stuff like that. You can kind of,
you get your PhD now.
Yeah. I know it does get a little different, but you mentioned the clubbing. It is, if you had told me, when I was 23, 24, that there's gonna be a day that you won't remember the last time you was in the club. Right. And I would be like, man, stop it. Because I was in the club 4 or 5 nights a week. Oh, wow. And it's like, damn, I can't even remember the last time I stepped inside of a club. Like you said, to be in a club to club. And it's like, damn, when did I do that? Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah. It wasn't no conscious decision. It just faded out.
Right. It's just different, things you look for. Like first thing, like car shopping. Like I remember, like the first things I check out when I'm, especially when I bought my wife's car, was safety features. Like who the fuck would I? Like I would have done that shit when it was just me. Like I was looking, so it's different. So those are the things, Dexter, that we talk about when we say some shit just don't matter. And learning how to pick your battles and not argue, and learning how to accept defeat or even pretend like you lost, just to keep some peace. Those are skills that you pick up. The longer you're with someone, the longer you're in a relationship. Because if I know the Steelers game come on at 4 and we arguing at 3:57, you got it, you won. I ain't trying to argue with you. Yes, I fucked up. You're right.
Right. Picking your battles are crucial. Like, we may be able to. She may be revving up, and I'll be like, "Oh shit!"
Right.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Nah, not today.
I'll put on a big smile and be like, "Yeah. I was work today." Man. I just completely deviate from what was going on. I'm not gonna down that hill. No, sir.
Exactly. And, no, sir. And then some of it, just comes from, because it took me forever to learn the skill of saying yes, dear. Like that skill of just forfeiting almost and just saying yes.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I fought that shit for so long, man.
Right.
But that term, happy wife, happy life, means something.
You learn real quick how important is it to be right.
Right, and exactly, and
is it learn, that?
Exactly, yeah, and you learn that there's a reason that statement is not happy girlfriend, happy life. Like that shit don't even sound right. But I mean all kind of shit. Like, you know, you learn the power of focusing on one woman. Because when you're younger, you're gonna explore and try to do dumb shit you couldn't you thought you can get away with, and wasting too much energy, getting in trouble, burning bridges, doing all kind of dumb shit. You know, when you get married, you learn the importance of, hey, it's hard enough to please one. Let's try to focus. Man, this is impossible.
There you go. That's and to me, like, that's the real. Like the men who've been married for like decades, they understand what that word "happy wife," like that word "happy," and that phrase.
It's a figure of speech.
There's no definition to it, right? It's a figure of speech.
Right.
So if you're gonna get caught up in, well, damn, this made her happy this week, but then 2 weeks later, now something else don't. You know, it's like, nah, it's a moving target. Understand that.
Yep.
Understand, happy is a moving target,
and
but that's what it takes to be married.
Right, and it's relative, because what you learn, like the longer I've been married 9 years. Jeez, I've been married 9 years, and one thing I've learned is, one thing I've learned to apply, because people say it and you think you get it. Marriage has kind of taught me that word happiness or joy, however you want to put it, that shit ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. And like, if your wife is constantly telling you, hey, you're not making me happy, or if you start telling yourself she ain't making me happy, that's a you thing. Stop pointing that finger to that other person, because you need to look within, because that marriage will teach you that it don't matter if you're not happy. You're gonna be with this person every single day, and to put that kind of responsibility on somebody is exhausting. To try to think that you're responsible for their happiness, that shit is exhausting.
Right.
Yeah. And the faster that people can come to that understanding, the happier the relationship will be, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But that's a hard lesson to learn for people, because it goes against what so many of us are raised to think. And a lot of people are raised with this notion that your happiness is an external thing.
Right.
And that's, as you live this life, you realize that's not true.
Yeah, damn right. Because if you planning on that person, if you're planning on that person making you happy, when it's going to be stretches of days, possibly even weeks, where y'all hate each other's guts, you in for a long ride.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
It's not. So
it's not, because honestly, the reality is why it's not sustainable is because it's hard enough in life to make your own self happy.
Right.
So to expect someone to make themselves happy and you happy, that you can't sustain that. Nobody can sustain it. Like you said, it's too much to put on somebody. Yeah,
absolutely. So, no, Dexter, I hope we answered your question. It's a damn good question, though, and thanks for paying attention to previous shows. We love when y'all follow up with us and make us revisit things that we've said in the past. But if anybody has anything they want to share with us, you have anything you want to know, get something off your chest, if you just disagree with something we say, hit us up. We enjoy answering these questions. You can email us at info@godefylife.com, or you can hit us up on social media at GoDefyLife. Speaking of emails, I want to give a quick shout out to, I guess, one of our newer listeners, Deandra. Guys, I sent y'all a screenshot of an email that she sent over to us, just telling us how much she's been enjoying the show over the last few weeks now that she's found us. And she enjoyed our Gordon Gartrell conversation. So so shout out to Deandra for shooting your email. So follow up with us if you got a question. Al, you ready for some trivia?
Yes, sir. Y'all ready? Who won last week?
I hosted, so I think you won.
Okay. So We'll go with you first, Jay, since you hosted, and then Pooh. I got four. Let's see. I got 3 categories, a total of 14 questions, just so that it's an even split between the two of y'all. Okay. I don't have any extra questions, so don't tie.
Okay.
I'll have a scoring error if y'all gonna pull some shit like that where y'all want to tie. But it's one. Let's see. Two categories are 1 through 5. One is 1 through 4. That's where the 14 comes in. Okay. So the 3 categories are. The first category is cooties. And it's just with all the coronavirus concept, things going on. I got some epidemic virus trivia for y'all. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 questions. So 1 through 5 for cooties. Then we got Big Apple boxing greats. So coming out of the Deontay Wilder Fury, where they had, Mike Tyson, Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis, and we talked about Tyson. Just kind of took me back to some of the, and Mark Breland was in there. So I thought about the New York history with boxing and boxers coming out of New York. So I have 4 questions, basically a who am I with the boxers out of New York. The last category is 1 through 5, and it has a bonus question in it. Only one bonus question here, and this is called DeMarco Murray Albert Hainsworth free agent segment. So this is like free agent bust. Okay. That's what this is. DeMarco Murray Albert Hainsworth free agent segment. 5 questions. Another who am I type scenario where I'm gonna read and you got to give me the name. Who was that free agent bust?
Okay.
All right, 1 through 5. 5 seconds. You know how we get down.
What was the name of the first category again?
Cooties.
Cooties.
Cootie. You got the cooties.
I'm staying away from that shit. Let me get free agents bus.
Okay, the DeMarco Murray Albert Hainsworth free agent segment. Which one? 1 through 5.
We get free agents for. Let me go 4.
4. Okay. This Redskin. The Redskins made this player the highest paid safety in NFL history in 2006. They gave him a 6-year, $30 million contract. He started 7 games for the Redskins that season before he would drop down the depth chart, and they ultimately traded him to the Chicago Bears the following March. Who was that guy?
Is it Adam Archuleta?
Yes, it is.
Bad memory, fool.
4.
Yeah, I knew that one. Let me get the same for 3.
3. That is the bonus question. Okay, so this one, name the person, and then if you name the team he came from, you'll get the bonus. Okay, so this wide receiver, he had been slowed by injuries before he was released in February 2008. The next month, the Oakland Raiders shocked the world by giving him $16 million in guaranteed money and a 6-year, $55 million contract. Over the next 2 seasons, he caught 15 passes and found the end zone once in 11 games. In total, he earned $21 million from that franchise. Who's that player?
And what year was that?
February 2008, he was released from the first team. And he got signed by the Oakland Raiders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got an answer?
I'm blank.
That would be, you know this, Jay?
Is it Javon Walker?
It would be Javon Walker.
From the Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers, yep.
Golly.
Florida State great.
I remember.
Javon Walker.
Yeah.
Okay, Jace, what you got?
Shit. Let me go for it. Let me get that free agent DeMarco Murray, Albert Hainsworth for 5.
All right. This cornerback was named to 3 consecutive Pro Bowl squads and was a 2-time first-team All-Pro as a member of the Raiders. Most folks were not shocked when the Eagles gave him a 5-year, $60 million contract. He had 4 interceptions over 2 seasons, and he was released from following the 2012 campaign after he refused to restructure his contract. Who is he?
Nnamdi Asomugha,
That would be him.
who is now married to Kerry Washington, and now he's a film producer, and he's married. Well, yeah, he married her, and now he's an actor and has his own production company. So,
shout out Nnamdi.
Yeah, Nnamdi was in a film not too long ago. It was on Netflix, but it starred Lakeith Stanfield, same dude who was talking about from The Photograph. But it was I forgot the name of it. Lakeith Stanfield played a dude who was wrongly convicted of a crime. And Nnamdi Asomugha produced the movie. He played his best friend, the Lakeith Stanfield's best friend in the movie. Did a really good job. I was impressed. Shout out to Nnamdi.
Yeah, shout out.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. Go ahead and ask Pooh because I looked the movie up while y'all talking.
Okay. Where you going, Pooh?
Give me that for 2, man. I got it on the board.
Okay. He was a stud running back that rushed for over 1,000 yards during 6 seasons with the Green Bay Packers from 2000 to 2006. 2007, the Texans gave him a 4-year, $23 million deal, included $6 million in guaranteed money.
The Texans.
In 14 games over 2 seasons, he earned a paltry 554 yards and scored 5 touchdowns before the club released him in February 2009.
Damn,
who was that running back from the Packers?
Can't believe.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't fucking know. Dorsey. Oh, Amani. Man.
I'll give you that. I'll get you on the board for that.
Yeah, it just hit me right at the last moment.
Wow.
I was about to say Dorsey left.
You almost said it, but I'll let you slide.
I ain't gonna question it, even though it was the wrong first name and after the buzzer. But I ain't gonna question it. I'm good.
Yeah. Let us slide, Jay. It was
the wrong first name.
Dorsey.
Dorsey.
Oh, I said
Dorsey Amon Green.
And I said Amon.
But it was 3 seconds after the buzzer. But it's good. You had that 8-second clock. I get it.
That's what it is.
You got it across half court.
You normally get the home cookie.
Name of the right. Name of the movie with Nnamdi Asomugha was Crown Heights with Lakeith Stanfield. So definitely a dope movie. What we got in the free agency?
That's the neighborhood, my birthplace, Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, well that's where it was set there. Yeah. So.
Okay. One is left for that category.
Yeah, let me go ahead and take it out.
Man, stay out of that, man.
This is a layup. This Super Bowl signal caller was acquired after the 1995 season by the New York Jets. I could stop there, but he signed a 5-year, $25 million contract, a massive deal for the time. He won 8 of 20 starts over 2 seasons, and he completed only 57% of his passes, while he got 21 touchdowns and 14 picks. The Jets cut him in 1998. Who is his quarterback?
That Neil O'Donnell?
That would be Neil O'Donnell.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Neil O'Donnell.
What do we have?
So you got New York, you got Big Apple Boxing Greats, boxes out of New York. And then you got the Cooties, which is the epidemic virus edition of trivia.
I'm done in all of these. Give me the epidemic for 2.
Okay. So this is a disease of the nervous system in cattle, and it's caused by proteins affecting their brain. It impacts. There you go. Ain't that bad? All right.
That was the 5, right?
2.
Let me go epidemics for 3.
Um,
Cooties.
Cooties for 3. Hold on. Let's see. You got so this flu-like virus was discovered in 2002. It made the headlines for its high mortality rate and its potential for causing a pandemic. It emerged from the province of China, a province in China, and spread quickly through air travel, eventually infecting over 8,500 people across the world.
Yeah, I should have won
5,
something else.
4, 3, 2.
Oh, and it's on the tip of my tongue.
1.
I don't know. Swine flu.
Nah, that would be SARS.
SARS. Oh, yeah, I would have got that wrong.
That was SARS.
Forgot about SARS.
Yeah. It killed almost 1,000 people. Okay, what you got, Pooh?
Let me get 1 for epidemic, man. Let me nickel and dime.
Let's see. The one for cooties is this virus was arguably the most devastating pandemic of the 20th century, since it was heralded as an epidemic in 1981.
81.
5, 4, 3.
AIDS. HIV.
That is correct.
Wow.
That is correct. Jay, what you got?
Let me go boxers for 2.
Boxing for 2. This boxer, he was considered by many as the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time. He had hand speed, punching power, boxing ability, chin. He was from Harlem. He had a record of 128 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. He had a stretch as the welterweight champion. He moved up to middleweights and beat some of the greats of Rocky Graziano, Jake LaMotta, and he accomplished this despite being undersized and past his prime. Who was this boxer?
Shit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Joe Louis?
Anything? Sugar Ray Robinson.
Damn, I was going to say him. Shit.
Yeah, sugar. Don't talk about the sugar.
Right.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Let me boxers for 1.
I already know what you're gonna say on this one.
True.
From a hoodlum in Brooklyn to the most feared heavyweight ever, he generated hundreds of millions of dollars. Became one of the most popular boxers ever. He became the undisputed heavyweight champ in the late 1980s. Then became the unified heavyweight champ again in the mid 1990s. Who was this guy?
In the mid
5,
1990s.
4, 3.
I'm gonna say Iron Mike Tyson.
I'm like, why are you making me count?
Right.
You're
I'm
killing me.
like, what's with the drama?
You serious?
I mean, you said you know what I'm gonna say, like what I'm gonna say about to be wrong. Yeah, you done shook me up, you know. You reverse psychology.
My bad. All right, so you got the cooties. You got 3 and 4 left. No. Cooties, you got 4 and 5 left. My bad. Cootie, you got 4 and 5 left. And Big Apple boxers, you got 3 and 4 left. And the score is JR has 10 and Pooh has 6.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go boxers for 3.
Okay. As an amateur, he won a gold medal in the middleweight division at the 1952 Summer Olympics. He twice reigned as the world heavyweight champion between 1956 and 1962. At the age of 21, he became the youngest boxer in history to win the title, and he was also the first heavyweight to regain the title after losing it. Who's this boxer?
That would be Floyd Patterson.
That is correct. That is correct. That was for 3.
I'm glad you threw that nugget in there about him being the first to regain the title. That's the only thing I knew from that.
Give me Epidemic for the 5.
Okay.
That's my only shot.
H5N1.
Oh, wow.
Has appeared sporadically in poultry populations for 40 years, but it wasn't until 2004 that it first hit the headlines as a human pandemic. The outbreak originated in Vietnam and Thailand poultry industries, but with a new fast mutating strain that was frequently fatal in humans. What is this?
Salmonella.
The bird flu.
The bird flu.
The bird.
What happened to that boy?
What
happened to
Would that be you gloating?
I think that's what that was. That was the shot. That you missed. You missed that shot.
That's that bird flu gloating.
Yeah. So okay, what you got? Let's see, cooties for 4.
Let me take boxers for 5, just so Pooh can't get it.
Vaccines for.
What's up?
It's only for 4, but it's the last one.
Oh, for 4. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That one.
So this guy was known as the Bronx Bull. Many said he had the best chin in boxing ever. He fought with a rage fueled from his rough upbringing in the city's Lower East Side. This I didn't know. He was forced to throw a 1947 fight with Billy Cox for the Mob before his overdue title shot was granted. That's interesting. He then beat the guy and won won a heavyweight championship in 1949. Robert De Niro played him in the 1980 movie Raging Bull. I guess I need to go see that movie. Need to watch that.
It's a good movie.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Rocky Marciano.
1. No. Jake LaMotta.
Oh, Jake LaMotta.
Jake LaMotta.
Okay.
So that leaves cooties for 4 for you, Pooh. This started in November 2015 and was spread mostly by bites from infected mosquitoes.
What's the name of that crap?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Got an answer?
I'm blank, man. I'm blank.
Zika
virus.
Zika
virus.
Yeah. Which puts JR the winner.
Yeah.
With a grand total of 13. Who had 6?
13-6. That kid doubled me up, man.
Yeah.
+1. Yeah.
+1.
Oh man, those good categories, Al. Good one.
No, they were. They were mad different. I appreciate that.
No doubt.
Yeah, mixing it up a little bit.
No doubt. What's it you hosted? What's your part and shot? What you got for me?
Man, I had something prepared and forgot it. So that being said, have a good week. Hope everybody is shout out to all those in Nashville. Anytime we have something national disaster or natural disaster, we try to make sure folks in that area know we thinking about them. So that tornado that hit downtown Nashville, my son was actually there Saturday, so definitely caused us to take note of it as he came home the day before it happened. Right. So, shout out to all those, and know that us as hosts, prayers is us as a network, prayers is with y'all. So, other than that, have a good week, and see y'all next week.
No doubt. Pooh, what you got for me?
Man, big up. I definitely want to echo those, sentiments as well. Prayers go out to you. But I also want to send my lovely wife a shout out, man. Her birthday's Friday. We're trying to get up to Asheville, have a great time. She want to go see what baby and whatever the guy named not Tom Cruise. The hell his name is. Patrick Swayze played on Dirty Dancing. Oh. She's been talking about that for 12 years, man, getting up there. So we're going to get up there for her birthday. I just want to wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday, sis. No doubt. I got nothing crazy. Got a couple.
What's in Asheville? I'm sorry to interrupt. What's in Asheville?
That's where Dirty Dancing was filmed.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. It's like her favorite love story ever and all this and all that. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. What you talking about?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Y'all enjoy yourself, man. Be safe. Have fun. And I hope you learn how to dance. Y'all go, you go learn all the moves and lift up over your head and all that stuff?
Probably not, man.
No?
She probably won't get to make it to dancing, man. She want to go hiking and zip lining and cliff dive. I don't know, man. She got, whatever she wants to do, we'll do it.
Oh, well, you have fun watching her do all that stuff.
Right. I'm going to do everything except ride in the elevator.
Go ahead.
Dude, I'm not getting in the elevator.
You don't ride elevators?
Not unless if it's like 16, 17 feet up, yeah. But if it's 14 and under, I'm gonna take the stairs.
Oh wow.
Are you serious?
Wow.
I'm dead serious.
Wow. Yeah.
This a recent thing, or you have like?
I've probably been like that for like the last, I don't know, maybe 7 years.
Just something that caused that? You got trapped in the elevator or something with the devil?
I didn't, but I mean, it's just every time I get in one, it feels as though I am. So my anxiety level is on 10. And then, so the last trip we took Erickson to the little Lego thing in Atlanta, we were in the garage at the Hyatt, and they were like, yeah, we're going to take the elevator down. And I was like, nah, I'm going to take the stairs. So we got down to the bottom. Carter and them was there at the bottom. They was like, hey, Dad, somebody's in there. They're stuck. And I was like, man, get out of here. And then they yelling, hey, somebody help us. And my heart dropped instantly because I could have been on that shit. And and I tell people, if you see me in that type of situation, you're totally going to lose respect for me. Bro, I'm going to lose my mind in there. So,
wow.
Yeah, I don't want to be caught in that situation.
So I have been stuck in an elevator before.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, about 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Probably about 6-7 years ago, maybe longer than that. But the other question I wanted to ask, how'd you like that Lego place? I know we wrapping up. I'm just curious. The in Atlanta,
It was cool. It was cool. My kids absolutely loved it. I just thought it could have been more because it was expensive, But I thought it could have been more. And I feel like we ought to get together and make one and make money off that.
Right,
bro. For real. You walk through $30 to get in, and okay, you do this obstacle course, and it's eight extra bucks to do that. And you just walk through and get stamps, and hey, go build your cars, and it's $5 to do that, and go ride this ride, and the ride go up and down. It's $5 to do that. you guys want chips? $3 for those. I mean, it's bro, it's a cash cow, and the kids are running around loving it. They have no clue that their parents just spent $100. So hey. We need to get in the Legoland, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, shout outs to your pockets and your calves, because between steps and Legos, man, you've been going through it. You can have them damn steps for 14 flights. I'm taking that.
I think we're gonna get on something for the low, man. That's what I'm hoping. Well, that's what I'm hoping.
Well,
I think I'll be fine.
Well, if you get on the elevator, if you do get on the elevator and it has a 13th floor button, don't push that shit. Go to the 4th.
Exactly. No, not at all.
Go to the 12th and walk up. So.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Oh, man.
And then like we have an elevator in our school, so people have gotten stuck in it like 3 or 4 times, and students will get on there, sneak on there. So I'm leaving my car. I ran out of my car one day, and I was walking back in, and I see an ambulance pulling off. And bro, I was like, what happened? Somebody got hurt. It was like, man, they were stuck on the elevator. They had an anxiety attack. They passed out. Wow. And that confirmed it. Like, elevators are not for me. That confirmed it for me.
Oh,
I see people getting wheeled out on stretchers. And I was like, what happened?
It wasn't the elevator. It was them. Like they.
No, but the catalyst was the elevator getting stuck.
The elevator got stuck.
That's the catalyst.
That was,
I don't want anything to do with it, man.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Well, Al, between me and you, Pooh, don't listen. Don't ever mention other shit that goes wrong in the world. So Pooh don't stop driving cars and eating food.
Yeah, I was wondering, so if someone had a nervous breakdown in a car, would you be taking a bike everywhere from now on?
Hey, but before we go, this is funny because when I had my surgery, when I had my ACL, for my second ACL repaired, so I was on the passenger seat, the passenger side, and it's totally weird. And I was in a car, so I began to hyperventilate because it felt like the car was just crumbling in on me, like it was crushing me. So we had to turn around, go back, get in my truck, and I because the truck was bigger, and I felt like I just felt more open. So we had to turn around, get the truck, and then go to the doctor. Like, and for a while, I couldn't even ride on the passenger side. And now, still to this day, and this started back in 2013, I cannot ride in the backseat of a car. If someone said, yeah, Pooh, ride with us, you get in the back, I'll drive. I'll drive. Seriously.
Oh, man. Well, go ahead.
No. Let's say this for the next show.
Right. Just know that I'm grateful for your wife more than it being her birthday at this point. That woman is a saint.
Nah, she calls me crazy all the time. She was like, "Yo, why you get up out of the bed so much?" Like, never mind. Like you said, that's a different show. Like,
yeah,
I
we
do
talking
a lot
about
of
that shit
stuff.
next week.
You
gonna have your own segment next week, and you gonna be
the
Pooh
weird
on the
shit
couch.
Pooh does.
Right.
Pooh on. I'm putting that shit down now.
Right.
Pooh on the couch. Okay. Yeah, I got nothing crazy. Just a couple things. First off, shout out to the NFL. We talk shit about them enough for their lack of innovation. But Deion Sanders announced that the NFL will be holding an HBCU combine for strictly HBCU players who might have got skipped over for the regional combines or the main combine, which will be held in Florida, in Miami, March 27th through the 29th. So hopefully some diamonds in the rough are discovered there. Secondly, shout out to Allen Iverson. We talked about him earlier, but Al's favorite basketball player in college ever. Allen Iverson is teaming up with Reebok to pay college application fees for rising seniors at Bethel High School, his alma mater in Hampton, Virginia. So shout out to AI.
Yeah, that's dope.
And then lastly, shout out to a motherfucker named Parlay Pats. Did y'all hear about this dude?
Mm-mm.
All right. So Parlay Pats is I guess like a professional gambler, but he bets on sporting events. But he's facing federal charges for threats to pro and college athletes. So this motherfucker, what he would do is whenever he would lose a bet, he'd go to Instagram or create fake Instagram accounts, Twitter accounts, and threaten the players who he felt cost him the game. Threaten them, their families, their children, everybody. and he's facing federal charges up to 5 years in jail. He's threatened several New England Patriots. I'll just read you a couple quotes. There was one college basketball player from Pepperdine. First of all, how bad you got to have it when you're betting on Pepperdine college basketball? God damn. But he, on March 9th, 2019, Pats allegedly sent 4 Instagram direct messages to an unidentified college basketball player for Pepperdine stating, "Your throat will be severed open with a dull knife. Your entire family will be beheaded and burned alive. I will enter your home as you sleep and kill you. Watch your back. You're a dead man walking." That's just one of the many threats that he made to several college basketball players. He's made threats to Arizona college basketball players, members of the Toronto Blue Jays, Tampa Bay Rays, Atlanta Braves. He made threats to several members of the LA Rams when they lost to the Patriots. So he about to do some time because he got Twitter fingers. He's a keyboard gangster. So we talk about it all the time. You motherfuckers that want to sit around and talk shit behind the keyboard, this is what the shit can get you.
Wow.
So makes with Project Pat.
That's over the line.
Right. So don't do that shit. So that's all I got, man. And this is a great show, guys. It's been episode 147 of the Defy Life Podcast. If you want to check us out at defylifepods.com or everywhere else your favorite podcasts are available. We'll talk to y'all next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Welcome to the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim. Join us as we discuss the latest in everything from entertainment and current events to the craziness that is our real life.
Let's laugh, let's live, let's talk about it. New episode every Tuesday on the Defy Life Podcast Network. And remember, if you're not defying life, then what are you doing? Lynn and Kim.